Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Saundering Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello and welcome. We've got a couple things going on. I did have internet issues. Comcast was doing their thing and made it hard for me to post. That has now been resolved and I got a new deck. Well, one of several new decks, but hey, if you're wondering what one new deck I've got for the fourth quarter of 2024, here is one of them. This is Lisa Papez's The Unicorn's Journey Tarot. This is the one we're going to use for today. It has not been shuffled, it has been cleansed, it has been purified, it has been bonding with its crystal. It is now ready to go. So we're going to go ahead, until the time is now, we're going to take this for a spin, see what comes out for today. So this will be fun. So let's go ahead and get started. This is your daily tarot reading for the 20th of October 2024. Alright my lovelies, I am back. All your cards are on the table, and I failed to mention this earlier, but this deck does have 2 additional cards, and we do have one of those on the table. I will assign that a numeration of 1 for the sake of numerology, as usual with any deck that has additional cards that are not numbered. We have 4 technical major arcanas on the table. We also have 1 synchronicity. We have 555 showing up for you. 5 usually means change, so this will be quite interesting for a lot of you. Anyway, let's start off with the best part of your day. We start off with the 4 of Pentacles, followed by the 5 of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and Choice. And I say choice, this is a name change. This is actually the Lover's card. The Lover's card was originally Choice. So, yay, props to Lisa. She actually put the traditional meaning of the card. It's nice to have that as a tarot deck that has that as an option for a title that isn't an oracle, for something different, just because it's a good way to approach the card. It will read differently. So, yay. Anyway, never mind me babbling about name changes and artwork, because let's face it, it's a new deck. I'm going to get distracted. Ooh, bright new shiny things. What's that? But best part of your day. This is you, despite it all, holding on. And when the tough gets going, when things get tough, the tough get going. Yeah, this is your fortitude, this is your determination, this is you holding on despite the odds. So this is you being adaptable, this is you being flexible. You know, if things get tough, this is you readdressing that energy, being adaptable, being, having fortitude, the gumption to stick with it, to forge your way ahead, because let's face it, changes happen, things shift from moment to moment. Sometimes energy changes, situations change, stuff literally hits the fan sometimes, and as much as we can see something and be like, well that's too difficult, and we give up, it's a choice. We can walk away from something, or we can literally go, okay, that's what we're working with now. All right. And you stick with it. You basically look at the negative and go, oh, okay, so we're dealing with this. Fine. And you make the choice to work around it, to work with it, to work through it. And that's always a choice. Anytime anything comes up, whether it's something you're familiar with or not familiar with, as soon as you realize something is there, you're aware of it, you get the option to either contend with it or walk away from it. And let's face it, some of us will opt to walk away from certain things. There's a reason why a lot of us have baggage or things like karmic debts and unpacked trauma and all this other stuff, is because sometimes we are not ready to contend with it. But this is showing up in the best part of your day. So, yay! when things may go a little south, may not go as planned. You might have those unexpected surprises, and some of them will be good and some of them maybe not so good. You've at least got the ability to pivot, to move through it, to, realize you have the choice and to make the choice, to contend with it. And that's great. It's great if we choose that. Now, the worst part of our day, we start off with the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords. Yeah, for some of us, it may be difficult to actually work through something. In fact, it might be a little daunting to some of us, depending on what shows up for us today. So we're not going to be more apt to choose to stick with something. At first glance, face value, we might just be like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And yeah, some of us might figure out later that that's probably not the best choice. But face value, that's what some of this is going to look like and appear for certain people. A whole lot of, I don't want to deal with that. Especially not right now. I can't deal with that now. Okay, so work or private life, you may opt to put things on the back burner. Worst part of your day. That's a really low potential of walking away from something, especially when we have the ability to work through it. We do have that capability. It does show up for us. Now, our obstacle, or how to get over an obstacle, we start off with the Shadow card. This is a card that embodies yin and energy, feminine energy. And then we have the Emperor, which, let's face it, Emperor is a masculine energy card. So it's funny that we have literally both showing up. It's just not the Empress and the Emperor, or the Shadow and the Light card in this deck. We have one or the other. And it caught my attention when it came out. Let's put it that way. Not only because it was an additional card, but in a way it's an oxymoron. It's two halves of a whole, but it's an oxymoron. But this is actually great because with this combination, it's the reminder that yes, there is darkness, there is things that go wrong, but there is always a bright spot. There's always the light, and it does take a while sometimes for us to observe it, to acknowledge it, to see it, that best way through, the bright side. It is there, and we have control on whether or not we see that part or not, acknowledge that part or not. So it's one of those cases of, okay, things are going good and all of a sudden something goes wrong. So we can continue to see everything that goes wrong, or we can realize, oh, this is a growth moment. Oh, we can do this. Oh, I have this at my disposal. Oh, well, it may suck right now, but in the long run, this isn't going to ruin my day. We have the control on where the power of the energy goes. Are we seeing the negative? Are we seeing the positive? Are we able to see both at the same time and look at it objectively, realizing you can't have one without the other? You're always going to have high moments, you're always going to have low moments, you're always going to have moments where you're doing something, and then you're always going to have moments where you're resting. You have the yin and the yang, you have balance. Everything must be in balance and in harmony, and sometimes when things get thrown at us that is not an energy that we desire, we have the tendency to automatically put it in the negative and unnecessary, the unwanted, and therefore we don't want to deal with it. But each energy serves its purpose. So yeah, mayhaps something does come up, something does go wrong today, but without it coming up the way it does and you facing it and dealing with it, maybe there's a very important grain of information that you don't get. And the one thing I like about this card is, yes, you have the yin yang symbol here, but then you have the white stone in the reflection that is meaningful of light and darkness, there's always a spot of light. There's always a bright side. There's always something to be gained. And because this is a yin energy card, yes, it does have to deal with shadow work, but in darkness, there's always light. It's not always bad. There's not always the need to be afraid or intimidated, daunted even. There's purpose in certain things. And just because something bad happens doesn't mean the good isn't there. That's a matter of perspective, and this is where our control comes in. Okay, so we might have to remind ourselves not to make hasty choices and to actually take a deeper look into something, especially in areas where things go wrong today or may not be exactly as desired, let's put it that way. Because there might actually be something a little bit more hidden there that you either need to know or discover. Maybe it's a lesson. Maybe it's a release of karma. Maybe it's just a reassurance for yourself, an acknowledgement for yourself that yes, you can do something. You do have the fortitude. Yes, you can handle it. And it's a lot of different energies. So please take whichever one resonates for you. After all, it is a general reading. But your perspective, that is your quote unquote guiding post in this, is what do you choose? Do you choose the darkness or do you choose the light aspect? What are you viewing? What are you operating as? Glass half full, glass half empty, pessimistic, optimistic. Are you just feeding the darkness and continuing with the outrage and the negativity, or are you toggling over to the positive and actually trying to find a solution and a way through? Okay. So for those of you that have confrontational issues, this is going to be a day that's not so great for you. Fixed signs, you're not going to have the greatest day. Why? Because you're a fixed sign. You don't like change. So having curveballs or surprises thrown at you or a sudden shift, it makes it really hard for you to pivot, for you to adapt and be flexible. But that's actually your greatest lesson to learn, is how to do that. Whereas people that are like cardinal signs, who love change, who seek change, always want change, everything new all the time, something new and different, gotta have it. And therefore even probably extroverts are probably also going to have the easiest time with this today, because that is their natural state of being. Just to note. All right. And a reminder, yes, we do have 555 as a synchronicity. I did add up all your cards. Everything here adds up to 49, which also reduces to 4. Now, in my current numerology chart that I'm using, 4 is actually fortitude, which you do see. You see the adaptability. You see the flexibility. You do see the fortitude. You can persist. You can make things go through. It's just all boils down to nearly one card, and it's right here. This is the choice card. It is your choice whether or not you take on that energy, you embody that energy, you decide to move forward with that energy. And sadly, that a lot of the times to make that choice is hinged on your perspective. What are you seeing, the light or the dark? This is where your control over that perspective comes in. Okay. Your guiding post, yes. As I called it earlier. Now, for those of you that do like the astrology, Moon in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces. So, yes, go easy on yourself. Go slowly. You can, yes, get things done. Fortitude, persistence, flexibility, adaptability. All great words that I've been throwing at you this entire time. You can get things done. Now, it's going to be a little bit hard to focus. And yes, it will take more time to get things done. This will slow you down. But at the same time, it's not impossible. It's just, at least with the astrology, you do have some interference when it comes to focus. So, not impossible. Just a little bit slower going. Go easy on yourself. Remember, snap decisions are not always the greatest. If you make a choice, you can always make a new one. All great reminders for you for the day. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for you. Hopefully it resonates. If it does, give me a thumbs up. And if it does not, no worries. It is a general reading after all. So please take what resonates, leave the rest. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.